Hello. Today will be the beginning of a journey with the unemployed profession. I will be trying to survive 100 days as an unemployed man in Project Zomboid. I will be releasing these in 10-day intervals to avoid super long breaks between the videos. Right now the plan is to go down the list of professions trying to survive 100 days as each one. I will be giving a detailed rundown of what I think about the occupation at the end of the run. Anyways, let's go. I spawned in and immediately got to work watching TV. I set the start time at 5 AM so I could have an extra life and living show for a bit more XP gains. As I was gaining fishing experience from exposure survival, I went and ate everything in the fridge because I chose the underweight trait. I then left the house and started clearing out the perimeter of zombies. I noticed a survivor home next door, which I found to be extremely useful in getting gear to clear out the rest of the zombies in the immediate surroundings. Ooh, yes. Nice. There was even a car out front that I found the key to in the house. Key to the car outside. This was when I had the most horrific slip up in the run. Yeah, on day one. Just watch this clip. Shit. Fuck. Yep, that's right. I got bit. I know what you're thinking. I gotta restart the run. Nope. I have the only cure mod installed. So I set my goals on finding a saw to cut off my arm. I noticed a tool shed right across the street with a bunch of zombies around it. I tried to sneak to it because clearly I was in no condition to fight given what just happened. That didn't go according to plan. I ended up kicking the hornet's nest in the effort to get to the shed. If there was gonna be a saw anywhere, it would be in that shed, please. So I was determined to live. So I got to work clearing out the zombies that got attracted. I just barely managed to kill them all. I knew the clock was ticking, so I looted the shed. It thankfully had a saw. Come on, saw, yes! Okay, the run might not be over. I ran all the way home to begin the process of cutting my fucking arm off. At least it was the left one. I thankfully survived the amputation. No. Oh. No, Damon. Oh, shit. And, can we give a round of applause to Damon? Only because he can't give himself one. So once this arm came off, I knew that two-handed weapons were temporarily out of the equation. These feet are still plenty good for stomping. So after hitting up that survival home again for any leftovers, I got a 2x4 and a metal pipe from it that I could use to keep kicking some ass. Ooh, a gun case. Ooh, look at that. The next house I looted had a first aid kit with a suture needle in it that I could use for my amputation. I was also able to loot a school bag off a zombie. Took his jacket too. I went home, read some books, and waited till I could fall asleep. I couldn't fall asleep under normal circumstances because of the pain, so I just had to wait. After a few hours, the pain died down enough for me to be able to sleep. On day 2, I woke up at 5:40 to catch a Life and Living show and gain some cooking experience. I spent several hours washing myself off and my clothes, and by the time I was ready to leave the house, it was noon. I decided to go down the dirt road a few houses down from my spawn area. I had to fight a dozen zombies just to get to the house at the end. It was difficult, but with most odds against me, I managed to pull it off. I just broke my 2x4 in the process. I explored the house and decided that I want to make it my main base. So after checking everything out, I walked away with a new bag and another fanny pack. On the way back, I siphoned gasoline from the car wrecks outside the survivor home and put it in the car. I now had a sweet ride. A cherry, as some would say. I went back to my starter house and got ready to move out for the morning. When I awoke on day 3, I noticed that I was queasy. I was really confused that I had cut off the arm with the bite almost right after the bite happened. So given that I'm only on day 3, I decided to leave my stuff in the house, go out, die, and continue as a different character. So say hello to Damon's son, Damon Jr. He's a carbon copy of his father except without the sick-ass goatee. So, here we go again. Day 1. Oh, spawn in the same spot. Holy shit. I made it to the future base with little to no trouble thanks to the doings of the previous generation. I looted the shed, something I forgot to do last time, and found a hammer, an industrial propane tank along with a normal one, and some other useful tools. I entered the house, made sure it was clear, dropped off the food, and sat down to read in front of the TV. Now is a good time to talk about the direction I'm going to take this playthrough. And I am planning on making a spear build with short blunt as my support class, so that means carpentry is a valuable skill to level up. I'm also going to rely on foraging for chipped stones for early spears. I have more ambitions for the playthrough as well, but you're gonna have to wait to see how they go. Anyways, after watching Exposure Survival for fishing XP, I disassembled some furniture for planks and went foraging for stones. I found some on top of a few bugs and tree branches. After that, I made some spears and headed for the house next door to clear and loot it. In the house, I found more propane with a welding torch and a bunch of electronics that I also took with me. I cleared the house of its food and headed back to end off the day. On day 2, I woke up early enough to catch Life and Living and went back to bed afterwards until 11:40 when I caught the next woodcraft show and leveled up carpentry to level 2. I then exited the house, made a beeline for the nearby school in an attempt to find some skill books. When I pulled up to the school, I noticed some zombies and began clearing. After clearing out most of the Zeds around the school, I went in and began looting. I found some very useful magazines, such as some Scrap Warrior magazines and some Post-Apocalyptic Knights magazines. These are both from the Scrap Weapon/Armor mods. I made my way to the school library and picked up some very useful skill books, such as Carpentry, Mechanics, Electrician, Foraging, Trapping, and Metalworking. I also picked up all the electronics I saw, all of which are going to be very useful in the near future. After that, I jumped into a nearby house and ransacked it of all its food and tools. I put it all in this duffel bag I found in the closet. After a fruitful day of looting, I went home by midnight and began the grind of leveling some skills. The grind mostly consisted of disassembling everything that wasn't nailed down while in front of the TV. I forgot to press record during the first bit of grinding when I watched Woodcraft after reading and disassembled the watches and other electronics I had collected. That wasn't even enough to get to level 1. I went to a couple of houses and disassembled all the furniture while the TV played Life and Living. By the time 6 p.m. rolled around, I had level 5 carpentry, level 2 trapping from Life and Living, and level 2 foraging. I was about to grind up the 6th level of carpentry when the helicopter event triggered. I tried staying in the house I was in, but they started to come in through the windows. When all of that was dealt with, I disassembled the TV, which gave me the last bit of XP to get my electrical skill to level 1. I went outside after the helicopter left and thought I could get away with grinding out carpentry to level 6. I was wrong. A laceration at the worst possible time, in the worst possible place. After dealing with a small group, I tried to return home as I was in no condition to fight. Little did I know, I had a nasty surprise waiting for me at home. I had to re-clear my base of zombies while I was tired. I had coffee in my inventory, but I didn't want to use it for this. However, I ended up needing to whenever I discovered another group behind the house. I got lacerated again during the fight. I thought for sure whenever I got grabbed that it was over. But after hours of fighting with my arms, both of them, out of commission, I was able to come out victorious. I spent the entirety of day 5 resting and organizing stuff in the base, barricading windows, taking care of bodies, stuff like that. After an early start to day 6, I started looking for zombies left over from the helicopter event. When I couldn't find any, I started foraging for chipstones and reached level 3 while I was at it. With the materials I found while foraging, I was able to make 6 spears. I then decided to go on a looting run, specifically to find a welding mask, as I had all this propane and really no way to use it. Upon pulling out of the driveway, there were about a dozen zombies that I had to kill. During this, I realized that my arm was still in horrid condition, so I decided to use more caution than usual moving forward. On a side note, I did loot a holster, revolver, and a crash helmet from a zombie. As I made my way up the street, there were even more waiting for me, so let the clearing commence. After dealing with all the zombies inside, I got drowsy and I decided to duck into a nearby house. After finding a mini arsenal in this guy's bedroom, I caught a Life of the Living show, made some more spears, and before I went to bed, I got extremely lucky and found a VHS of Car Zone that I leveled up mechanics twice from because I happened to read the first volume, Mechanics, a few days prior. After that, I went to the bedroom and went to sleep. On day 7, I woke up at 5 o'clock and immediately got back out there to keep looting. I happened upon a fire truck in front of a burned down building with 3 fire axes in the bed. That was insanely lucky. I spent over 12 in-game hours looking for a welding mask with no notable loot except for a Tech 9 and some ammo, which was actually pretty cool. But eventually I finally found what I was looking for. Yes! Happy with everything I had looted, I went home after another successful day. I awake on day 8, fully healed from my wounds and ready to start building some more fortifications. I grabbed an axe, made some sheet rope, and got to work chopping trees. By the first round of chopping, I had almost 100 planks. I figured that was enough to at least get started. By 9 p.m. that night, I had about half of the perimeter framed out with all of my planks used up. Before I went to bed, I collected a few more logs and set them in the living room floor, ready to be sawed in the morning. On day 9, I wake up and do the same thing all over again. Sawing the logs I got the previous night, I got back to work building the perimeter. By 5 o'clock, I had the perimeter framed out. I wasn't at level 7 carpentry yet, so I decided to read carpentry 4. By the time I got done, I was drowsy and exhausted from a full day of work, so I decided to chill at home and grind out the last little bit of maintenance XP for level 2 until it was time for bed. In case you didn't know, you can repeatedly push a window with a weapon and power level your maintenance. Here we are, day 10. I decided to go out and disassemble some more stuff for carpentry XP. I mainly focused on doors so I can collect more knobs and hinges. When I felt like I had a sufficient amount of hinges and knobs, I went back to the school to disassemble the cafeteria tables. These give huge amounts of XP, especially with the multiplier you get from the books. After disassembling the tables, I was a bit over halfway to level 7 carpentry. Also, after disassembling a whole classroom of desks and still not hitting it, I knew I wasn't going to make it in time. So I looted the school shed, took what was useful, and went back home. The bright side is that I can make the big gates with the materials and levels I have now. I chopped a few more trees and got ready to build the doors. I put one in the front of the house and one behind the house just so I wouldn't have to go all the way around the wall if I wanted to forage. Anyways, we have successfully completed 1/10 of this journey together. I will now cook and eat a celebratory snail. I woke up on day 11 ready to hit up the fire and police station. I take all my bags as I believe this will take a couple days. I get some food, refill my bottles, and set out. The reason why I'm after the fire station is because I need more axes and other tools to stock up on. And you may think the primary goal is to get guns from the police station, however I'm actually looking for nightsticks, as these are great short blunt weapons. Upon arriving at the fire station, I noticed an absolute shit ton of zombies and began clearing. I was able to find 3 hunting knives off of some zombies, 2 of which I turned into spears. After a few hours of fighting, I got hungry, so I dipped into the fire station for a little snack. I also found a gas mask in the lockers. After that, I started working on clearing the perimeter of the police station. I did end up letting my guard down and getting lunged. Luckily, I only sustained a scratch on the thigh. It turns out my assumption of there being a lot of nightsticks was right. I had looted at least 3 or 4 by the end of the day. I also ended up getting a key from one of the mini zombies I killed in the police station and made my way back to the armory. I held off on looting it for now as I was getting tired, but don't worry, I'm not leaving without it. After all that, I went back to the fire station to catch some sleep. The next day, I woke up and got back to work clearing out zombies that had migrated into the area. After that, I decided to check out the fossil oil truck in the police station parking lot. I got extremely lucky and found a full can of gas in the back of it. Now, given that my current car has seen better days and I was now able to hotwire, I decided to take the fossil oil truck for myself and transfer all of my loot from the car into the truck. After that, I went back to collect all the guns and ammo from the police station armory. If you're seeing guns that aren't in the game, that's because I'm running the Vanilla Firearms expansion. It adds a lot of vanilla feeling guns to the game. After that, I remembered to loot the fire station shelves and took all the axes and tools. At the end of the looting run, I had quite a metric fuck ton of loot, including 8 fire axes and another full gas can that I got off the shelf. I also got plenty of metalworking supplies for the future. After all that, I went home and fell asleep. On day 13, I had the intention to head back to town, but this time I was going to hit up the stores. I was planning on looting the bookstore in search of a generator magazine, along with the bar to get stocked up on booze for Molotovs and other kinds of fun. Before I left, I dumped all of yesterday's loot on the floor like a lazy fuck. I pulled up to the line of stores and started clearing the hordes. After that, I checked out the bookstore and sadly didn't find a generator magazine. However, I did get the whole metalworking series. After that, I hightailed it to the bar to get more essentials. When I pulled up, I did not expect this big of a crowd to be waiting for me. Nevertheless, another clearing montage happens. After managing to clear the initial horde, I looted the whole building for all it was worth. I found a surprising amount of guns and ammo in the upstairs rooms. While trying to clean all the blood off of me in the bathroom sink, I noticed that the water had finally shut off. Oh well, it was nice while it lasted. After that discovery, I looted every single bit of alcohol that place had. It took me until about 2 in the morning to get it all in the back of the truck. After that, I sleep until 7:30 and wake up on day 14 ready to loot just a little bit more. But after getting stun-locked by a couple of zombies, I realized that maybe continuing to loot wasn't the greatest idea. Anyways, I kept looting and took some chips and coffee from the grocery store across the street and disassembled everything in the buffet to get to level 7 carpentry. After that, I went home and started to build some storage crates for my hoarding tendencies. The next day, I got ready to finish my walls because I could build level 3 walls now. So anyways, I got an axe and started chopping, building walls as I went. By the time 9 o'clock rolled around, I had finished half of the wall and achieved level 8 carpentry. Exhausted and tired, I went to bed. I woke up bright and early at 6, ready to keep building, and so I did. By 5 p.m. I had finally finished my wall. the very next thing I did was sit down and rest within the safety of my walls. Now the actual wall is finished, however it's not completely done, but for now I'm going to keep it as is. I had some other more exciting things to do, like storage management, but before that I took a small nap. And I wake up at 4 in the morning, and with a sick ass beard. Holy shit, look at this guy. So I remember seeing a bunch of weapon lockers in the neighboring house that I eventually wanted to grab and store guns and weapons in. So I made my way to the house, picked up the lockers, and hauled them back to the base. After getting them placed, I put all my guns, ammo, attachments, and magazines all in one place to take inventory. I forgot to press record for some of this day, so I don't know how much of it's going to show. Anyways, I had a bunch of guns and almost no ammo to work with, which makes me think of a trip I can take to a certain place. I'm gonna go to the prison. I needed to be super prepared for this, so I packed a bunch of things, some spears, nightsticks, and some Molotovs in case things go south. I also made sure to take some coffee and fill up all my bottles with the remaining water in the tap. By 9 o'clock, I was ready to go to sleep and hit the Rosewood Penitentiary in the morning. I woke up ready to go to prison. The plan was to go, loot the armory, and get out ASAP. I double-checked everything and headed towards the prison. As I pulled up, I knew I had to be extremely careful to not get the attention of the zombies from the actual prison. Anyways, I pulled into the front gate and began clearing. There were more than I thought in the armory building, but I managed to kite them out and deal with them. By the time I got done clearing, I had raised my kill count by almost 100. I entered the building and looked for a key. Unable to find one, I went upstairs and disassembled the armory door. I grabbed all of the ammo first, just in case I wasn't able to make it back in. After that, I went back and looted the few guns they had in the lockers. And then I wasted absolutely no time in getting the hell out of that place. The total loot count combined with the stuff I already had was 6 boxes of 223, 17 boxes of 308, 1 box of 44 Magnum, 4 boxes of 45 Auto, 3 boxes of 5.56, 24 boxes of 9mm, and 15 boxes of shotgun shells, on top of some loose rounds and a ton of different guns and attachments. I also realized before I went to bed that I got lucky and got the desensitized trait at 700 kills. I woke up at 7 AM to the sound of thunder. It was rainstorming. I took full advantage of this and gathered materials to make some rain collectors outside. I was able to make 3 rain collector barrels for water collection. After that, I spent a few hours grinding my sprinting skill to level 2. and then I decided to get drunk and pass out on my bed. Here we are, day 20. I realized that I needed to get my hands on some more gas while the power was still on, because I knew that I'm just getting more and more lucky every day it stays on. So I decided to use the ammo that I collected from the prison and go clear out the gas station. So I get a shotgun, all of my shells, and head to the gas station. I pulled up and just started blasting. I have to admit there was a disappointingly small amount of zombies, and by the way, this shotgun is fucking awesome. I'm starting to fall in love with the vanilla firearms expansion. Anyways, after I cleared them out, I filled up my truck and started looting all the gas station food. After that, I filled up all the gas cans I found there as well. I also surprisingly found another shotgun with a couple of boxes of shells in the room upstairs. After another good day of looting, I went home and ate a celebratory can of dog food. So I wake up with the power out on day 21, ready to level up my aiming skill. So I head back to the fire station to raise hell. I arrive there and start shooting. By noon, I had re-cleared the station, but I wasn't done. I then went up behind the shops and started shooting up an even bigger horde. After I was done, I went to the gated community and started clearing that too. After killing a few more, I started looting the houses. I found like 3 guns on a dead body in this house, and 4 gun cases in the adjacent house. After getting tired, I decided to sleep in an upstairs bedroom. I woke up and decided to keep looting the houses because clearly I was finding a lot of guns. I found 2 gun cases in the first house on the street, almost died in the last house on the street, and found literally nothing in the neighboring house. I then make my way down to the neighborhood below the shops. I find 2 guns in the first house, kill some zombies, find 3 gun cases in the next house down. That's a nice car. I almost die of stupidity next door and took that as a sign to GTFO. This is what the haul looked like at the end of the day. Honestly, more than I thought I would get. I'm glad I took the lucky trait. Day 23 was a day of sorting and storing. I properly stored all of my loot and guns where they were supposed to be. Not really much to talk about. The next day I decided it was time to level up my metalworking skill, so I took my skill books and set towards the school with a truck full of propane to get started. The school is useful because there's a bunch of metal chairs and lockers to disassemble. I disassemble, I read. I disassemble, I sleep. I wake up. I disassemble some more. I read through the night. Sleep is optional. I disassemble my way to level 5. I leave the school a shell of its former self. I go home and sleep. I wake up the following day ready to face the world, so I plant some cabbages. Whilst planting cabbages, I felt the need to plan a big trip, one that will set me up pretty well for guns. I want to go to the military surplus store, not only for more guns and ammo, but possibly for a new bag. So I get some stuff together, a few days worth of food and water and some Molotovs just in case. I grab my shotgun and a couple of handguns and head out. The trip itself takes a few in-game hours, but it's worth it. I know I have the means to deal with the hordes around the surplus store, as I've done it many a time in previous playthroughs. I readied my shotgun and faced the hordes head on. They didn't stand a chance. I got my other bag and started looting that place clean. Oddly enough, I didn't find a new military bag. However, I did find a sufficient amount of winter clothing for when it gets chilly. I had so many guns and so much ammo that I had to tow an extra cart just to carry it all back. I was set up for a very long time. On the drive back, I began to think about how much better I've gotten at this game. I've certainly sunk a lot of hours into it. Honestly, that's the whole reason I decided to start recording again. I figured that since I've been putting so much time into this game, I should put in a little bit more and get some content out, and who knows, maybe this hobby will turn into something bigger. Anyways, I pulled back in Rosewood and made a beeline for the base. When I got there, I used the rest of the day to put away all the guns and ammo I'd acquired. The next day, I get ready to go back to the prison, this time with the intention of conquering. I wanted to level up my aiming skill to be able to use more guns, so I head there and begin reaping.
After getting my kill count well into the thousands, leveling up my aiming in the process, I start towards home with a quenched bloodlust. This just goes to show how powerful your character can get. In Project Zomboid, a huge horde of hundreds usually means death, or at the very least calls for a migration out of the area. But if you have enough firepower, you can achieve anything. This is personally easily one of my most powerful characters yet. That night I sat down to read in the moonlight. I then turned in for the night. Here we are on day 30. So I intended to grind mechanic skill for the day until I realized that I was missing a certain magazine, so I went to the auto shop to look for it. Except for some zombies, I didn't find much of anything in there. Quite uneventful until I almost died for the third time this episode. Overall, an unsuccessful run, but much like with the Generator magazine, we'll just have to go without for now. Perhaps we can reach out further next time. Anyways, I get home and eat a caterpillar. After a hilariously late start to the day, I just decided to do some much needed chores around the base, like checking the crops, boarding up entry points, and washing clothes. I also made sure that I had plenty of water boiled. Also, I tried to enable the True Actions mod, but it made my game have a seizure, so I guess we're stuck sitting on the floor. I wake up the next day and prepare to head to Maldra. Besides residential homes, there's really nothing left here in Rosewood, and I still have a lot of things on my shopping list to make this base functional. So I gather up some guns, ammo, food, and water to take with me, and then I hit the road. The plan is to set up an outpost in the Maldra police station. I chose the police station because it's right near some very useful places, such as the VHS store and, if memory serves me correctly, some storage lots as well. The trip only took about an hour. As I pulled up to the police station, I knew I had my work cut out for me, so I started clearing. At first, I tried to use my pistol on an M14, but after running out of ammo, I ran to the truck to get my shotgun. After that, it was all downhill from there.
After the initial clear, my kill count was over 2,000. I slept in the truck that night. In the morning, I got to work disassembling stuff in the police station, repurposing the materials to board up the windows, and I didn't start recording until I was almost done boarding. I still had doors and storage crates to build though. By 5 o'clock, I had some basic storage and I rebuilt all the broken doors. A very nice place if you can look past all the corpses. I still had a little bit of time left in the day, so I decided to go ahead and loot the VHS store, which I didn't record. I got a few cooking VHSs and a single Car Zone VHS tape among a few others. The next morning I started preparing for a looting run. After I reloaded all my mags, I checked on this police vehicle in their parking lot, and it looks like we got a new ride. So I hotwired the vehicle and set off to the storage lots. Well, I had to put gas in it first. Okay, now it's off to the storage lots. There were more than I thought there would be at the storage lot, but nothing I couldn't handle. After breaking in, I got a key off a zombie and started looting the place. I found at least 2 or 3 generators in the whole place. I also got a nice spear upgrade in the form of a garden fork. I also found a wood axe. All very nice finds. Additionally, I made sure to pick up any thread I saw just in case I wanted to grind tailoring in the future. I didn't find much in the actual storage garages besides some seeds, but I did almost find a heart attack in one of them. That legitimately scared the shit out of me. It was 8 o'clock by the time I was done looting, and I was getting tired, so I went back to the outpost for the night. I awakened the next day with neck pain from sleeping in the truck. The plan for the day is to look for a generator magazine. After pulling up to what looked like a school, I was wrestling a metric fuck ton of zombies. After using my spear and handguns for the first little bit, I started to get winded and was running out of ammunition. So I hauled ass back to the outpost for a shotgun and some shells. I got the shotgun and sped back to the horde and started shooting. After a while, I realized the amount of zombies I was actually attracting to me. It was a lot. Like way too many. So I started to make a desperate escape for the truck. But after making a critical mistake, I fell. I dropped my shotgun. I was bleeding from both my ankles. The truck wasn't too far. Let's pause. After realizing the deep shit I was in, I decided to turn my microphone back on.
This ain't fucking good. This ain't good. This ain't good. Nope. Oh shit. This is not good. I'm probably dead. Car! I think I'm dead. I think I'm dead. I think I'm dead! Get in! No! It's fucking over. They f***ed me.
So this is the part where I talk about the profession when I think about it. So the unemployed profession starts you off with, I'm pretty sure, 8 extra trait points to spend. This allowed me to take traits that I normally don't take, like Gymnast for the nimble skill, or Lucky, which was super nice to have because of the increased loot. It also let me start with high strength and fitness levels. If you ask me, it's the ultimate jack-of-all-trades profession. If you want a good build for fighting and grinding skills alike, then the unemployed profession is perfect. Before I go, I want to say that I'm going to be doing several challenge run spin-offs on the channel in the very, very near future. If you made it all the way to this point in the video, I sincerely thank you for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed this video or learned anything new, go ahead and leave a like. If you didn't, I wish you a good rest of your day, and I hope this video would be the worst part of it. I'll see you later.